Hi everyone. Very good morning. Firstly, so let us start the session. So people, if they want to join, they can join in some time. That's not a problem. So firstly, hearty welcome to the Generative AI workshop, and I'm really excited to have you all here. In the next 2 hours, we are going to demystify what Generative AI is, how it evolved, why it's such a big deal today, and of course, how can you be a part of this AI revolution? So, yeah, sit back, stay engaged, and let's dive into this amazing journey. So, this is our today's agenda. We'll begin with a quick look at the evolution of artificial intelligence. Okay, and we'll walk you through key concepts like neural networks, transformers, RNN, LSTM, LangChain, RAG, prompt engineering, and all. This is a part of it. And of course, we are going to see what is the historical evolution of artificial intelligence from the years. Okay, and then we'll be covering the job opportunities that are available today and the career insights. Also, we are going to view what kind of future trends we have in this domain of generative AI and how this generative AI is impacting the industries. Okay, so this is our today's agenda, and it will be interesting. That I can assure you from my side. Okay, we'll be covering a lot of technical things mainly, and then we'll be moving to the general information about generative AI. So that's the main agenda of it. Yeah. So yeah, you have been listening to this artificial intelligence growth from the couple of years. Okay, it's not limited to just coding, but we are seeing many of the humanoid robots that are being created and self-driving cars. And people in Hollywood have started creating movies using generative AI. Actually, so we'll be covering those parts in detail in the coming slides. Okay, so this is the general information that I have kept here. So all these are part of your artificial intelligence or machine learning. Actually, it is not at all limited to the coding. Okay, that's the important thing I wanted to say. And firstly, before we get into generative AI, let's take a step back and understand the foundation. Okay, what is this artificial intelligence? So AI is when machines think and act like humans, right? That you already know, and it can learn, solve problems, and make decisions, right? So AI refers to machines or software that can mimic human intelligence, right? So they are exactly behaving like humans in terms of creating music, in terms of creating text, in terms of creating conversations with the people. So if you are using any Gemini apps, Gemini Live or ChatGPT voice mode, etc., etc., they are speaking exactly like humans, right? In terms of conversation, I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. So hope you know this broader spectrum of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is a broader field, and machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI are subfields of it. So if you do not know this, you can have a quick understanding of these subfields and the architecture. Okay. So artificial intelligence is a broad idea of making machines smart. So like thinking, solving problems, or understanding language, that you already know, and we have given the definition of it. But what is this machine learning? Machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence, which you can see here. It is a subfield of artificial intelligence where machines learn patterns from data and make decisions without being directly programmed. Okay, so we'll discuss the applications of machine learning. Then you can understand what is meant by learning from data and then applying that particular knowledge in doing any kind of tasks. Okay, and then deep learning. Deep learning is again a subfield of artificial intelligence, as you can see here. But there is a quite a difference between machine learning and deep learning. So here deep learning is nothing but it thinks like humans. Okay, this particular technology which was introduced, but technology or concept or a field that was introduced by our AI researchers or scientists. So this field introduced a concept called as artificial neural network, or in simple things, neural network which can exactly think like humans. Okay, so this is a deep learning and generative AI. You already know this is a field. Unlike traditional artificial intelligence that classifies or predicts, generative AI actually creates, right? It can generate text, images, audio, video, or code, music. So all from simple input prompts. So you are already using this generative AI in one or other way in your daily task. Maybe in coding or creating images, right? All these things you are already using. So I need not to give you a detailed information about generative AI. So hope you got a good idea about this broader spectrum of artificial intelligence. Yes. So what is generative AI? That I have already given you a detailed definition. So it is nothing but creating new content like text, images, video, or data, code or data. Okay. So text, image, audio, and video. These things we already know that generative AI is capable of, right? But we do not know generative AI currently is being used in many of the other applications. Okay, so whether it may be biological data sequences, like in creating any kind of medicine, or in
Yes.
terms of so
Nine.
somebody speak, could you please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So biological data sequences in terms of medical studies, or in terms of your studies on MRI, X-ray, etc., etc. Okay, so everywhere generative AI is being used. Not only that, 3D
Church
creation of 3D models.
10:30 అయింది.
Could you please go on mute? Yeah, and structured data, product designs, and blueprints. So the applications of generative AI is not limited to these four only. If I want to tell you the complete applications that are being using the principles of generative AI, I can give a whole list of around 20 applications right away. Right, that is the importance of generative AI today. Yes. And what are these? This is AI milestones. Okay, so everything has started in 1950s itself. So just like you thinking it is not started in 2000. So for every evolution that happens, you know there will be a significant time gap between the milestones or historical creations, right? And these are some of the milestones in terms of the historical what do we call them,
Historical
points that I could
instance.
keep in terms of artificial intelligence era. So it all started in 1950, and then so 1967 people have invented this chatbot. So if you are thinking chatbots have come in 2000s, no, it is wrong. Eliza, which is a chatbot, which was the first chatbot we called as, but it is a simple one, rule based one. It works on the principles of if and then logic that we use in Python. Okay, so if and by using the if and then logic, the Eliza was created. And it simulated human conversation. People, they do not even know how to type in the keyboard, okay, computer keyboard, at this time. But some researchers have created this chatbot, and they were surprised that a machine can answer like humans, but its intelligence is very much limited. You can't compare that with the large language models that we have today. Okay, and then 1956, yeah, I'm going a little bit wrong, but yeah, 1956 people have coined this artificial intelligence term. And then expert systems have come up in 1980, and RNN, recurrent neural networks, which are part of your deep learning, have come up in 1988. So whatever the chatbots people were using from 1980s to 2000s were based on RNN and LSTM. So we'll have a deep understanding on this in the coming slides. Okay, And 2012 deep learning has come up, and 2017, 2018, you can see, I need not to explain. I would like to give a point over here. In 2016, I believe, so there was a a model called as AlphaGo, which was created by the Google subsidiary DeepMind. It defeated the world champion in the game of Go. Okay, so people who do not know about the game Go, it is quite similar to chess, but it have lots of permutations and combinations involved when compared to the chess. Okay, it have more than the combinations that are being done when a player is playing the chess. Okay, so in this particular game, AlphaGo is able to defeat the world champion. Okay, now you can understand how the artificial intelligence is progressing in a rapid way. Actually, if it is able to defeat a world champion in the coming years, obviously it will surpass human intelligence. Of course, we can see a signs of it nowadays itself, right? Yeah. So this is nothing but types of artificial intelligence. Let's quickly walk through the evolution of AI systems from basic rule-based AI to the advanced generative systems we use today. Okay. Um, I have already told you the rule-based system. The example being Eliza chatbot. So they work on the principles of if and then rules. Okay, it's a quite a simple based chatbot which is generally used for a simple conversation. So if you say hi, it will say hi. How are you? It will say I'm good. Okay, and if you ask a question, it says that I'm not able to understand. So that is the limitation it is having. It can just give you a simple conversation, right? It can't give you beyond what humans are uh, conversing every day. Okay, these are the rule based AIs. And then we have the machine learning. Machine learning, I already gave you the definition of it. Machine learning is nothing but where systems started learn from data instead of hard coding rules. Okay, we train models to identify patterns like in spam filtering. Spam filtering, I think if you get a spam email, it immediately goes into the spam bucket or spam folder you have in Gmail, right? So that kind of algorithms we are creating on the basis of machine learning. Actually, we'll see these particular examples in the coming slide, but for now you understood, right? So it machine learning is where the systems learn from data and identify patterns and performs tasks based on the data, right? Without human intervention here, right? And then deep learning, I have already told you, deep learning is nothing but a subfield of artificial intelligence where we have created terms called as neural networks which behave just like human brain. Okay, we'll see the applications of deep learning again. And generative AI, you already know about this, but this is type of artificial intelligence. And then first we'll start with the machine learning era. AI really started becoming useful when machine learning came into play. Okay, you already know about that. Here, instead of hard coding rules, machine learning allowed machines to learn patterns from data just like we do, right? That we have discussed. That's what I have kept here. Machine learning is nothing but machines learn from data without being explicitly programmed. It's about training a model instead of writing rules. The more data you give, the better the model becomes. So the example being the spam emails itself. So in the spam emails you get, you'll be having, right, click this link and win a prize. So those kind of information we give as part of patterns. Okay, so if the machine is able to find that pattern, so it decides that that is a spam email and it is not a non-spam email. Okay, that's the thing a machine can do by using the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so this is what this guy is doing. Yeah, it's a robot. Yeah, these are the applications of machine learning that we are seeing each and every day. Gmail, if you get an email, some of the emails they automatically will be loaded into promotions folder or social folder and spam, right? So all these kind of things, this is a machine learning algorithm which is happening inside it. Okay, and then if you are using any e-commerce website like Flipkart or Amazon, once you purchase something or if you are showing interest on some product, immediately you will get some recommended items, right? So that is also part of your machine learning algorithm itself. And then we have the Google Maps where it says the traffic is more in this way, or this is the shortest path. Earlier, back in our days, I mean, in our grandfather's day, if you want to calculate the distance between one location to the other location, we used to calculate. But now everything has become very much easy by using this
Naveen,
machine
your
learning
voice is
concept
not
itself.
audible intermittent.
Sorry, sorry, you are saying something funny.
Yeah, your voice is breaking, or we are missing your voice
Really, is everyone
sometimes.
facing the same problem?
No, I can hear you properly. I can
We
hear you
can hear
properly.
you properly.
No, we can hear you properly.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
then it's
you.
a problem from my end
Thanks
only.
for. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Please check, Funny.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you, Naveen.
Yeah. So the applications of machine learning is not limited to this. Okay. So we have discussed email spam filtering, right? Product recommendations and traffic prediction. Apart from that, we have many more applications. If you want me to say, customer service chatbots that we are using. Back in those days, we do not have any kind of generative AI, LLM applications, right? But still, we had chatbots. They were all being created on the basis of machine learning itself. And stock market predictions, house predictions, rent predictions in no broker, etc., etc., and smart home devices, all these are part of your machine learning itself. Yeah. So now is the time. There is a quick change in the history of artificial intelligence. So till now, whatever we have, they were learning from data, right? And the data is sent by us, and also the feature engineering is also being done by humans. So we have dependency of humans in two ways while we were working on machine learning, right? But there is a quick change in the world when human like learning concept emerged. Okay, so we are not satisfied with the machine learning, actually, because we human intervention is required in two ways when we are dealing with machine learning algorithms. However, there is a concept which involved, or which was emerged in this particular era, which made machines to think like human. Okay, so that you already know, this is nothing but your emergence of deep learning. So when deep learning was introduced, it all started in 1940s itself. So if you want to go deep into the concept, people were thinking, the scientists were thinking, how can we make a machine to think like human, right? Then they introduced the concept of neural network, and then lot of advancements happened in this particular area, neural networks, and finally a field of artificial intelligence, deep learning, has emerged. Okay, this is what I want to say, from data learning to human like learning, which means from machine learning concept subfield to deep learning concept. Okay, hope you got a very good idea on this. And then deep learning. So if you are going to prepare for any kind of job related to generative AI, maybe LLM engineer or generative AI engineer, prompt engineer, or chatbot specialist, something, etc., whatever related to generative AI, you should start your preparation from deep learning itself. Okay, you remember this. So deep learning is a concept which has to be learned even before you are going to learn the advanced generative AI. Okay, yeah, I have already told you about. Let's come into this topic first. Deep learning. What we are going to discuss here in this deep learning is nothing but neural networks. Okay, first let me give you a brief understanding of what deep learning is. So you already know, teaching machines to think like the human brain. This is the main aim or agenda of deep learning, deep inside. Okay, now let us see this definition. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning and artificial intelligence that uses multi-layered neural networks to model and understand complex patterns in large data sets. Okay, so this particular part may be confusing for you because you do not know what this complex pattern and what is large data set, etc., etc., at this point of time. However, you should know this definition for now. And deep learning is inspired by the structure and functioning of human brain. For example, if you take this as a human brain, actually this is a nerve cell that is present in our brain. Okay, so this is a single nerve cell, and we'll have billions of it inside our brain. and each of them are interconnected with each other, and they pass information between themselves. Okay, so the dendrites are the things which takes the input. Okay, for example, I'm giving you um, explanation of deep learning, right? Some processing is already happening inside my brain, right? To deliver some speech, some processing must be happening inside me, right? So this is the processing which is happening. So dendrites receive the information, and then cell body, or called as a soma, so it processes that information, and synaptic terminals, they output the information to the other neuron. Okay, so this is called as your natural neural network, because it is naturally happening inside your brain, and this is a network of neurons. Okay, sorry, network of neurons. So this is a natural neural network, and scientists have been successful in creating a artificial neural network, which is called as ANN, or again artificial neural network, which contains three layers: input layer, hidden layer, output layer, etc. So whatever the chatbots you are seeing, or whatever the image generations you are seeing, or all the applications of deep learning itself. Okay, if you want me to tell you more about it, I was saying, right, the MRI studies, or self-driving cars, or NLP techniques like chatbots, everything, or computer vision, image generation, everything all is a part of deep learning itself, and they are all the applications of it. Okay, so these are the three layers that are present in an artificial neural network. So this is a slide taken, I have taken from my when I explain this concept to my students in previous batches. This is a slide I use basically to make them understand good about the deep learning concept. I have kept it over here to have a better view of it. And yeah, deep learning by data type. So people are using ChatGPT, or some other AI related tool for generating the image and text data, right? So deep learning, if we categorize based on data types, firstly we'll have text data, and then image data. Okay, so the text data, when deep learning came in around 1980s or 1990s, so RNN was the first neural network that came as part of your deep learning. Okay, and then LSTM, and then transformers. Okay, we'll discuss about this in detail in the next slides. But these are the neural networks which are used for creating the sequences, or for example, whatever I'm conversing right now, the English language, so these are able to create the sentences. Okay, and image data, so this is nothing but your convolutional neural network. So this is for your object detection, image classification, medical imaging, and autonomous vehicles, right? These are the applications of it. We'll go deep into this in the coming slides. Okay, so yeah, this has come. Recurrent neural network. So this was in 1980s when people have introduced this neural network for creating the sequences. So if I say the sequential data, you may not understand. It is nothing but generating text or speech. All right, hope you got the idea of it. So if RNN was already introduced in 1980s, why do we have chat bots like chat GPT, Claude, Mistral, etc., etc., right? So you must know how the limitation, what the limitations of recurrent neural networks, then only you can advance into the future concepts, right? So that's the reason I made this entire presentation in a story manner. Okay, so based on the timelines itself, we'll advance into the other topics. All right, so RNN demonstration, let it come first. Okay, yeah. So I have introduced myself. Hello, my name is Naveen, and I'm from Hyderabad. The climate is very warm, and it is summer here. So it also replied to that, hello, how can I help you today? Okay, and then I asked it, I said that I'm working on comparing different neural network models. So it said that that sounds interesting. What specific models are you comparing? You can read that, right? Meanwhile, I'll have a sip of water. So suddenly I asked it, can you remind me what my name is and which city I'm from? It said, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name or city. Again, I asked, what did I mention about the climate? It said, I don't recall you mentioning anything about climate. So what did you get from this? Can someone answer what information did you get from this demonstration?
It don't
limited.
remember words.
Yeah, limited. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. While RNNs were exciting, they came with a big limitation, which is they forget. Okay. So they forget. As the input sequence gets longer, as I keep on messaging it, RNN struggle to retain earlier information. Okay, so in practical, I mean, if we go deep into this concept, this is causing due to the vanishing gradient problem. So I see some of you are already working as a GenAI engineer, so you must be knowing about this vanishing gradient problem that you see in any kind of deep learning neural network, right? So that is the problem which is causing this issue. Okay, so they forget. This is the biggest limitation it is having, and let us see how they forget. So here I kept RNN struggle with long range context. So if I give the word 7, the memory retention of it is reducing on the word 6, and of course on word 5, and after word 4. So the previous words memory retention is going on decreasing as we move further, right? That is a problem of RNN. So RNN memory decay over longer sequences, this is the biggest limitation we had those days. So scientists thought we have to invent something or invent some algorithm or a neural network which can surpass our these kind of issues, right? Then LSTM was introduced. Okay, so LSTM is a special type of recurrent neural network, again designed to remember long term dependencies and solve the vanishing gradient problem that standard RNN struggled with, right? So after RNNs this has come up. Let us see how this is behaving. All right, so it won't take much time, but uh, so this is a simple demonstration for you. So if I explain this concept to you on a notepad and ask you what is happening, it takes a lot of time, right? So that's the reason I have created this simple animations kind of to make you a better understanding on this particular concept. Okay, if I write everything on the board, it takes hours of time, but our time is very much limited, which is 2 hours. So I need to make you properly understand everything, and it should be in a time limit. So that's the reason. Okay, please come up. Where am I? So let's wait for this. Yeah, this is the last message I feel. Okay, yeah, I think now it will come up. Yeah, so this is starting again. So I have introduced myself again. Okay, so I'm Naveen from Hyderabad, and um, so it also replied, "What kind of AI work do you do?" Okay, so that's a good reply. I said that I'm building a tool that works in English, Telugu, Hindi, Tamil, Japanese, and Chinese. Okay, so it also replied to that perfectly. I said that it's a sentiment analysis system. My manager wants it to also identify product features in reviews. It said, "What models are you considering?" Okay, so I was chatting with that for 5 hours. Okay, so I was chatting with this completely for 5 hours, and again I asked it a question where I am from. It said you are from Hyderabad. So RNN has this problem, right? It couldn't even remind what kind of the basic information itself. So which language did I mention my tool supports? It said you mentioned multiple languages, but I don't recall which specific ones. What extra feature did my manager request? So this is another question. I'm not sure about the specific feature your manager requested. See, so though it is remembering the basic information like my name and location, the additional details that I have given in the later parts of my conversation, it is not able to remember. Okay, so LSTM or a like upgraded recurrent neural networks RNNs, also they come up with special gates inside, we have three gates in LSTM. Okay, if you look at the architecture of it, you will find three gates. So the basic principle of it is it will decide what to remember and what to forget. Okay, so So RNN was completely forgetting everything, even the basic details itself. But LSTM, it will have that ability to decide what to remember and what to forget, right? So this allowed models to remember long term dependencies much better than recurrent neural networks at that time. Okay, hope you got it. So relevant past information it is able to hold, which helps the model to maintain context even after 10 or 20 words, right? It was a huge step forward in NLP, right? Powering early voice assistants, auto captioning and more. Okay, hope you got this. So this the basic principle of it is it will know what to remember and what to forget. So this is the memory retention over long sequences, and you will find it is far better than RNN. So if I give it word 7, so 94% only the previous word it is retentioning, right? The memory retention is happening inside. So you can find it. This is for 30 words I have taken, and if you see the memory retention is far better than RNN can hold. Okay, hope you got. So it remembers the important patterns over long sequences. That is great. So still people are not satisfied. Okay, so it was in 2017. Hope you guys are following me. Do you have any questions at this point of time, or is it boring? Do you want me to explain in a different way? Do you have anything, or at least tell me you are following this concept or not?
Yes, man, you can go ahead. You're going well.
Yeah, is it interesting?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thanks Prabhakar, thanks for the confirmation. At least you have given, and somebody have already, yeah, somebody asked me what is prerequisite for generative AI. That we'll discuss in the coming parts. And yeah, thank you Muhammad, and thank you Jivaratnam sir, and Sayali, thank you. So there was a pause. Okay. Though we have RNNs and LSTMs, but we are not able to create powerful chatbots. We are able to create chatbots, but they are not powerful because memory retention should be there for a long sequences, right? Okay. So there was a pause in the AI industry entirely. And you know the limitations, right? Couldn't process long text well, trained slowly, memory fades over time, harder to scale for large data sets. So these are the problems people were having, and industry hit a plateau at that time. There was a progress. There is a good progress, however, in terms of creating these chatbots, translation, and voice assistants by using this LSTMs and GRUs, which came after that. But it was not revolutionary, right? AI needed something faster, smarter, and scalable at that point of time. And then the pause, this is a pause before the explosion. Okay, so what kind of explosion has happened which covered all these limitations? Okay, that is what we are going to discuss now. The pause before the explosion. And what is that explosion? The explosion is nothing but transformers. So this is the breakthrough that changed everything, right? So whatever the LLMs that you are using, chat gpt, claude, mistral, and Gemini, whatever the LLMs you are using today, all these are part of your transformers itself. So this is a paper which was introduced in 2017, and the paper named, as you can see, attention is all you need, introduce this transformer model. Okay, unlike RNNs which read text word by word, transformers can look at all words at once. Okay, this is the ability of transformer which it can look at all words at once, and this is called as self attention. Okay, and transformers work on the self attention mechanism. So this is a interview question. Okay, you must know what kind of mechanism is happening inside the transformer and how it is happening. So it is a self attention mechanism, and you need to know about it if you are applying for a generative AI job interviews. Okay, so self attention is a mechanism that allows a model to look at all the words in a sequence or in a sentence at once and decides which words are important to focus on when understanding the meaning of each word. I know you did not get this point. right? You must be frank to say this, but yeah, we'll discuss about it in the coming slides. But all words are processed at once, which makes the training faster, right? So if you take RNN and LSTM, it takes up word by word and makes the processing here. It takes up word by word and makes the processing inside. But when coming to the your transformer, it process all the sentences at in a single go. Okay, so parallel processing will be happening inside the transformers. Okay, if you want me to write down the limitations of RN and LSTM, I could do that. But for now, I hope you got a basic idea of it. So this is the principle it is using up. So these are the basic differences between your RNN and LSTM. Okay, so RNN and LSTM, it process words one by one. However, a transformer sees entire sequence at once. So RNN and LSTM hard to remember long text, but this uses self-attention mechanism, right? As I said, and it tracks everything, and it is slow to train. Okay, this is parallelized training. So when parallel processing is happening, when coming to processing the each of the word in the sentence, so parallelized training should also happen, right? So the transformer has brought this ability. Okay, so the training has become very fast and sequence bound, works on any position in the input. So, yeah, hope you understood. Transformers weigh the importance of each word in the sentence, no matter how far the words are apart. For example, if you give a sentence with, let's say, 20 words, a transformer will be able to understand which word is important. Okay, so if I say Naveen is playing cricket, okay, so here the words which are important is Naveen, which is a noun, play, he's playing something, it is a verb, and cricket, which is again a no noun, and is not required, right? So it gives less importance to those kind of words. The transformer works in that way, and self attention is all about that. Okay, I'm just telling you basic understanding over things, but if you want me to explain in my regular class, I explain the self attention mechanism itself for 1 hour or 2 hours. Okay, so I just want to keep whatever I have in my mind in let's say 5 sentences. That's where I'm struggling right now. So parallel processing is happening inside my mind as well at this point of time. Okay, yeah, hope you understand that transformers are called as game changer, and almost all the chat gpts or llms we have today, they are working on the principles of transformers, on the mechanism of self attention. So it came in 2017 and it was introduced by Google, as I said. Okay, so that's the information I have kept. As soon as the transformer was introduced, okay, the rest of the models like OpenAI, ChatGPT, OpenAI has released a model GPT-1 2018, but but maybe by Google, Robota by Facebook, I remember, GPT-2 again by OpenAI, and T5. So these kind of small LLMs were introduced on the principles of transformers to check the transformer is absolutely working fine or not, and the results are amazing, right? You would have already used the GPT-1 or GPT-3 or some other models like BERT, GPT-2, etc. from the Hugging Face Transformers that website, right? You can find it, and you can even practice. That is a free version. So whenever company like OpenAI, they introduces the new models like GPT-4, 4.0, 4.5, etc., etc., they usually keep all the old models free of cost. So all the free models will be available in your Hugging Face website itself, and currently we have around 1.5 million free models. You can have a look at that. Okay, yeah. And coming to uh, state of the art transformer based models. So yeah, GPT-4, yeah, these are the models that you are using, right? They are called as state-of-the-art transformer-based models because these models are being used widely outside. Even you, some of you might be using Claude, Gemini 1.5, or GPT-4 in your day-to-day life, and they were trained with billions of parameters, all right, and billions of huge amounts of data. Uh, whether it may be textbook or websites, etc., they are trained with petabyte amounts of data, and even they have been trained with huge amounts of parameters. And if you see the GPT 3.5, I remember it was trained with 175 billion parameters. 175 billion parameters. Okay, so you can see what a large language model is and how it was trained and what is behind it. Okay, so you need not to worry about this point about the large language models, but it is coming up in the next slides and we'll have a good understanding over that. Okay, so at this point of time, you just remember all these models are part of your transformers concept itself, and they were introduced based on this transformer itself, and self-attention mechanism is the one which is happening inside each and every LLM. Okay, yeah, so this is the evolution of language models. Okay, I'll take some 10 seconds break. Okay, I'm having some I'll have to take a sip of water. I'm not able to continue explaining things continuously, right? So you just have a look at this. So you'll have a brief understanding of when the chat LLM model was introduced, and you'll understand who introduced that particular model and all. So yeah, as you can see, 2017 is when transformers was introduced, and 2018 you see GPT and BERT. Google's BERT, as I said earlier, and it was trained on 340 million parameters. Okay, and then Palm, Instruct GPT, and Chat GPT were introduced in 2022. To tell you specifically, I think in November 2022, Chat GPT was introduced, right? And it created a huge revolution in the IT industry specifically. Everybody started using ChatGPT from the end of 2022. To be specific, from 2023, mostly everybody was using ChatGPT. You know what historic moment it created? Within 5 days, ChatGPT was installed. I mean, the app was installed, and people using are around 1 million users. Okay, within 5 days, no other application has got this a moment. Okay, 1 million users started using ChatGPT in 5 days. Okay, yeah. And 2023, Palm 2, Dolly 2, and Wanka, the latest advancements in large language models. And Llama, right? This is of open source, and you can use it right in your system itself. No application is required to run this. Okay. So these are the major milestones of artificial intelligence. So this is just a recap of what we have explained so far. So 1950 and 1956 birth of AI, Eliza, expert systems. Expert systems are nothing but rule-based decision-making systems. Okay, so people were using in healthcare and business. Maybe we do not know in India. Maybe very few people might be using these expert systems, but people around the world were using widely. Okay, and then 1988 RNN, and if you see here, 1997 IBM Deep Blue, first time a machine beat a world chess champion. Okay, so this is chess. And in 2016 AlphaGo, DeepMind's AI beats world champion in the game of Go. Okay, you can by looking at these two examples, you can understand how the artificial intelligence is progressing year by year. Okay, and then 2017 transformers have come, 2018 to 23 GPT, BERT, Llama, Chat GPT, etc. Yeah, hope you are getting. So you need any break or we can continue? Guys, is it boring, or do you want me to stop for a minute, or do you want me to continue?
We can continue.
Okay, sure. So we have been talking a lot about this LLMs, right? Large language models. But most of you, as from the survey, I got that most of you do not have understanding, a deep understanding of what large language model or advanced generative AI as well. So I want to tell you very simply, LLM is nothing but large language model. Okay, so which is trained on huge amounts of data by that specific company like OpenAI, Google, Meta, etc. Okay, so so sorry. So LLM, when we say large language model, you can get that thing in your mind, right? It is nothing but a model which was trained on huge amounts of data. But there is one important aspect of it as well, which is nothing but it was trained on huge number of parameters. As I said earlier, GPT 3.5, it was trained on 175 billion parameters. Okay, so parameters are nothing but weights and biases. So this comes up in your deep learning concept. Okay, so weights and biases which gets updated each and every time an epoch is completed. Okay, you may not be knowing what is epoch and what is back propagation, what is front forward front propagation and all. But these are all terms which will get introduced in the deep learning itself. Okay, the first concepts itself when people introduce in any other course, if people are introducing neural network, they should explain you what is bias and what is weight, because they are nothing but the parameters that we call usually. When I say here 340 million parameter, it is nothing but the weights and biases of a neural network that is being used. Okay, hope you got this understanding. So LLM, as you know, it can do everything. Like whatever the text you give, based on the data it is trained on, it can give you exact information that you already know, and we are surprised by that as well. However, even LLM has some kind of limitations. Okay, negatives or cons of using only LLM. Okay, for example, the first one being outdated information and no access to specific or private data and limited context window. I'll explain this using Notepad. Okay. Okay. So when I say the limitations of LLM, I was referring to one, outdated information. Correct? What does it mean? So can somebody say what does it mean by outdated information and why it is a limitation for LLM?
As it is provided by the old data, it trains
Yeah.
on old data.
Yes,
It
correct.
cannot access to the internet, or it cannot
Yeah,
retrieve
correct,
the
correct.
data.
Exactly, exactly. It is not having any kind of current data or fresh data. So LLMs are trained only up to a certain date. Okay. If you take an example, for example, we have GPT-3, right? GPT 3.5. GPT 3.5, which I was telling, right? 175 billion parameters. When you are using this chat GPT, it will say that its knowledge is limited till 2021. Okay, which means whatever the knowledge being fed to your large language model, so that knowledge was completed till 2021 only, but not after that. So if you ask it any kind of information from 2023, 2022, or 2024, or currently the 2025, it cannot answer. Am I right or wrong? Right? So this is the biggest limitation a large language model will be having. Okay, and then I said, right, no access to specific or private data, right? So what does it mean? As Sindhura has already answered, it is not having current data, or also it is not having a specific or private data. So for example, you are working in one company or service based company or product based company. If you get any doubt, okay, regarding your company policies. So if you are a women, like you can ask, right, what is the maternity period provided in this company? Okay, if you ask this question to any of the LLM, can it answer? Like for example, let's say any company, any service based company, okay, you are working in this company and you are asking chat gpt this question, this particular question, can you tell me what is the maternity period in this particular company? Can it answer? That is my question. Obviously no, right? LLMs can't access your business data, can't access your business data or private documents on their own. Okay, so hope you understood that it will not be having any kind of specific data with it. So regarding any company or your personal details, or regarding any kind of specific information, it is not able to fetch that. That is the second biggest limitation a large language model is having. Okay, and then, and what is this next thing? So limited context window. So please ignore my spellings here. So limited context window means LLMs can only remember a limited number of tokens in a single prompt. That we will do an exercise on it. Okay. Okay. So hope you got the limitations of it, right? And that is the point where we are. So that is a question people have got. How can we give an LLM current, specific, and private data and make it answer intelligently and responsibly? So then is the time people have introduced this concept called as RAG. Okay. So what RAG will do is, let me share my screen again. So what is this RAG? RAG is nothing but an extension to LLM, or a different concept that is used along with LLM to fetch the real-time data or updated knowledge from any kind of data sources, and connects to your private documents, and grounds the output in retrieved factual context uh, to avoid hallucinations. Okay, we'll have an example on this hallucination as well, and breaks down your documents into chunks and retrieves only what's relevant, sends to LLM. Okay, so hope you got this idea of what RAG is. So for example, if you're asking a question like what is a maternity leave policy, so this question directly goes to this RAG system, and RAG will retrieve only that part of information which you provided. Like LLM, you are combining this with any kind of company document or company website or company any PDF text or word file. So when a user asks a question, it directly goes to that particular document and fetch that relevant information and provides that relevant information to the large language model. And finally, the large language model will be able to answer your question. Okay, so that is what RAG means. Retrieval augmented generation. Of course, see, if I want to explain a large language model or RAG, I could explain this for around 5 hours. Okay, but this is a workshop is to give you a good understanding over things like the terms RAG, LangChain, right? So that is the reason I am limiting the explanation to some extent only, because it takes a lot of time to go deeper into the concept. Hope you understand this. So this particular example, if I want to explain you this, I could explain you for 3 4 hours, right? Because a real time generative AI employee needs that much knowledge when he is performing any kind of activity inside the company. Then I will be explaining that. But for now, hope you are getting a sense of it, why this technology has come up and what this particular technology or term is doing in real time. Okay. Yeah. So this is the next question you should get: is LLM and RAG combination helps us building a chatbot or not? Right. Has anyone have this knowledge on this kind of combinations, or you have any doubts like building a chatbot can we do with LLM plus RAG or not? Okay, so if you have this question, we can do that, but you will have to write long coding. Okay, number of lines you have to write for this to build a chatbot. And of course the chatbot won't be giving proper answers, and the conversations won't be smooth, and it cannot remember the memory which the user has already given. Okay, and it might take a lot of time. Okay, there are many disadvantages when you combine only LLM plus RAG combination for building a chatbot. Okay, so in this time, what people have introduced at this point of time, if they want to build a chatbot, what people have introduced in real time to overcome this kind of situation, you know. So that gives you an introduction of LangChain. Okay. So LangChain. LangChain, what is LangChain? LangChain is an open source framework designed to build powerful applications with large language models by connecting them with external data, tools, and memory, like a conductor guiding an orchestra of components to perform complex AI tasks. Okay, so this I'll explain you in the chat in the notepad itself. Okay, so how does a first you need to understand how does a chatbot work, right? Firstly, user sends a question in front end, maybe front end application, whatever it may be. For example, ChatGPT or any Streamlit application kind of. Okay, then this question need to be converted to. So you put a question in the English language, right? But the computer can't understand English language. Okay, so that is the basic understanding you should have. Any machine or any model or a computer, basically it can't understand English language. It must, the whatever the sentence you keep, it must be converted into numbers. Okay, so here the conversion need to be converted into numbers. Okay, in to tell you, they are nothing but your vector forms itself, vector forms. Okay, so here the embedding will be happening. Embedding means converting your sentences, English sentences to numbers or vector forms. Okay, and then these vector forms will be sent to your vector databases, which already contain your company related information in terms of vectors. In vectors, and they search for relevant data. They search for relevant data. Now the retriever, so there is you'll understand everything in the next slide. Okay, you need not to worry about this. So the retriever, whatever we are having, so what it will do is it will fetch related data, and also it creates a prompt for the LLM to understand. Prompt will be created, and these both will be given to your LLM. So LLM now will get both the relevant information and also the answer to give, answer to be provided to user. Okay, then LLM will deliver that answer to you. So this is the operations will be happening inside a chatbot. So this is a basic explanation. However, this involves lots of things like vector databases, embedding models, retrievers, and the augmentation will be happening. And vector databases like Pinecone or FACE or VV8. So those kind of things will be happening, and they'll fetch the relevant information, which is by the retriever, and the LangChain will be taking care of all these things. Okay, so let me show you here. If you see this particular picture, LangChain is at the middle, and it is controlling chains, LLM, RAG, memory, prompt templates, and vector database. So this is the particular working principle of LangChain. So if you want to build a chatbot, and you understood, right? This is the flow of how things will be happening inside a chatbot or chatbot architecture. Okay, so all these things will be controlled by the LangChain. Okay, so that is the reason, like a conductor guiding an orchestra of components to perform complex AI tasks seamlessly. So whatever the seamless things happening inside your chatbot, they were taken care by your LangChain. Though you have LLM and RAG, that won't be sufficient for you to create a good chatbot. You need LangChain for that. Or not only LangChain, you have multiple other frameworks as well. Okay, so that is the importance of LangChain. Now this is what I was telling you. So whenever a user sends a question, all right, so let's let it come over here. Yes, whenever user sends a question, so it first decides whether the answer is within the chat provided by the user, or it must be taken from the RAG. Okay, so once it is done, the question will be sent to your vector store, which contains your PDFs or company related documents. Okay, and then it will be sent to your core processing, where the prompt will be generated. Okay, and then the LLM which is here, it provides you the answer. Okay, so this is a basic understanding or the sequence which is happening. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and then prompt will be created, the core processing. This will be taken care by LangChain itself. Entirely, this entirely will be taken care by LangChain. The seamless integration of all these tools will be happening because of the framework that we imported. Okay, so finally the LLM will be providing you the answer, the user answer. So you can find it over here. The step 1, what is happening, step 2, step 1, user input, chat chain processing, whether it should be your chat chain or RAG chain. Okay, and document retrieval, your company related document, which I said already. And the LLM, it will be processing using the prompt templates, and response from formatting will be done by your LLM itself, and the final user response delivery will also be given by LLM. Okay, again, this is a 1 hour, 2 hour, or 3 hour concept. Okay, so but the sequence of things will be same, whatever I told you, the same thing. So when a user sends a question, it will be converted into vector form, and these vectors will be these vector questions, these are vector forms, right? The question vector forms, these will be taken by the retriever and searches for the relevant information in your vector database. Okay, and then those vector databases and the prompt will be created by your retriever itself. And currently we have the relevant information for the answer for the question, and the prompt that a LLM can understand. Okay, so these two things will be sent by your retriever to the LLM. So now the LLM has the relevant the answer to your question, and also the relevant information. Okay, so it creates answer to make you understand. Okay, it creates answer in such a way that you'll get a better understanding. So when you say large language model, it should be able to deliver the answer properly, right? It must use the ability of using the language properly. So that is also one of the capability of LLM. So it is able to deliver the answer properly. So these are the steps every chatbot will follow. And then comes the next question. Okay, um, So what is this prompt engineering? Okay, let me, yeah. So prompt engineering is nothing but the art of asking the right questions to LLMs. Okay. So there are different techniques that we use in prompt engineering, like zero shot. Zero shot is nothing but you give a question where you just give the task how it should answer, and few shot, so where you ask a question with some examples. Okay, and instruction based. So all these kind of techniques have um, different definitions. I'll take a notepad and will explain you how things will work. Okay, notepad. So the first thing is zero shot prompting, right? Zero shot prompting means, um, for example, you ask it to translate a sentence. Okay, you translate um, uh, a Tamil sentence or Telugu sentence, whatever, into English. Okay, into English, but you did not provide any example to it. Okay, okay, for example, in Telugu we have, right, eat. So in Telugu it is tinu. So you are asking the LLM to translate into English, so it will translate to eat. Okay, in Tamil it is sapdunga. So when you give that, it will be converted into English. So but we are not giving that particular examples. The eat example we are not providing it here at all. So we are just asking the LLM to do a particular task without giving any examples. Okay, that is nothing but your zero shot prompting. And hope you understood the few shot prompting by this. Okay, few shot prompting is nothing but you are giving it some examples. Okay, so for example, the same thing if I consider here, I'll give 3 4 examples of conversions. Okay, eat, drink, or play. So I'll give the Tamil language words and the Telugu or Telugu words, and I'll ask, based on these examples, I'll ask the LLM to convert that into English. That is nothing but your few short prompting. So here the few is nothing but the examples you provide. The zero here is nothing but the example that you provided. Since you did not provide any, so here we are calling that as zero. All right. And then instruction based prompting, right? Instruction based prompting. So this is also same. You clearly instruct the model. So for example, summarize the following program paragraph in one sentence. So you are giving an instruction. Okay, there. And we hope you understood. We are just giving it an instruction to convert this paragraph into a single line. That is nothing but instruction. Okay, and the prompting that you have given is called, will be coming under instruction based prompting. Okay, and the role based prompting. So this is another one. So for example, you are an HR manager. Okay, and I'm asking the LLM. So you are an HR manager, and explain the maternity policy completely. Okay, so based on this prompt you are assigning it a role, right? The HR manager role is you are assigning, so it will be able to answer, take up that role and will be answering in such way. That is nothing but your role based prompting. And the other one we have is chain of thought prompting. Okay, so what is chain of thought prompting? For example, earlier in when you are using chat GPT 1 or 2, etc., if you give it a complex question like if a train travels at 60 kilometer in 1 hour and 90 kilometer in 1.5 hours, what is the average speed? So if you ask that, it used to give wrong answer only, because a thought of an LLM must follow a chain. Okay, it must follow a sequence of steps. when coming to this particular math problem where a person is traveling at a particular speed, a particular distance in a particular time, the LLM, when it is providing an answer, it will directly will not follow this chain of thought and gives you a wrong answer. Okay, so it must follow the chain of thought, which means so it must first calculate the total distance. Here in our case 60 kilometer and 60 kilometer, right? 60 kilometer and 90 kilometer, right? So it first calculates this entire distance. Okay, and then it will calculate the total time, which is your 1 plus 1.5 hour, which is 2.5 hour, and then it calculates the average speed. Okay, which means your 150 divided by 2.5, and it gives you answer 60 kilometer per hour. So here it is following a chain. Okay, it is first calculating this, and finally it is going to provide this answer, and this will be 100% accurate. So this is how your chain of thought prompting will work. Okay, so these are the basic examples of prompt engineering. Okay, and you must follow this when you are prompting any large language model. Of course, this is also a very big topic which needs a deeper understanding, but these are the major techniques that we usually use in prompt engineering. And also when you start a concept of prompt engineering, you will be starting with with these techniques itself. Okay, yeah. Yeah, finally, so till now we have discussed many things, right, on generative AI and artificial intelligence, evolution of artificial intelligence, and how the virtual assistants or chatbots are working and how they progressed over time, right? So the question comes up, why you should learn generative AI now, right? So for those who are getting this doubt, over 2 million AI jobs in India will be created. I mean, it's already in progress, and with a 1 million talent gap. Okay, so India do not have that much talent to fulfill those positions, vacancies we have on generative AI. Okay, so the hiring is started in 2025. So if somebody is following Naukri or any kind of job portals, you can see in 2024 December we have only say 2000 job vacancies in generative AI, but now you have around 10,000. All right, in these 3 months it has seen a very good progress in the job creating the jobs. Okay, and the jobs are going to increase from this June or July. Okay, by that time if you are prepared to generative AI, you can get a good job with the high pay. Okay, because as the talent is very low, so people are ready to hire you with a very good pay. Okay, that's quite similar to any other technology, right? So for example, if you take any cloud data engineering job or DevOps job, whatever, whenever a new job or a new field comes up, okay, in DevOps or data engineering, whatever, you will be having a good amount of vacancies, but the talent will be obviously low. At that particular point of time, HRs will be luring you with good pay. Okay, so they'll provide you good pay and take you inside, even though you do not have much knowledge on it. Okay, but now many people are having a basic knowledge of generative AI. Okay, and also the thing is it is creating a huge talent gap, so it is a time for you to apply for the generative AI jobs. Okay, that is those are the points that I have kept here. Lack of skilled talent, huge opportunity. If you see this survey, this is a reliable survey. You can also have a look at that. If you go through this mm, there is a popular website on jobs, right? Or you can go for World Economic Forum as well. It says that millions of jobs are getting created in generative AI. Okay, in the and the growth rate is around 73% year over growth rate. And you can see the job vacancies and the talent we have, and how much is the talent gap it is going to happen. Okay, in 2025 you are going to see around 570,000, which means around 5 lakh jobs will be on generative AI or AI So when you are a machine learning engineer, or earlier back those days when you are a machine learning engineer in 2012, 13, 14 or 15, you used to concentrate on only machine learning algorithms, but generative AI has become a part of it now. Okay, machine learning is not related to is not confined to the algorithm that we are going to use in machine learning itself, but deep learning is also added to that, and generative AI is also added to that. And coming to generative AI, you know, you already know the syllabus, right? And these are the job vacancies it is going to create. And India, country like which has huge workforce, a cheaper workforce, I could say. I do not, I should not say that, but when compared to the world salaries and all, you know, it has a talent gap of around 5 lakh jobs that are going to be created in 2025 itself. All right, hope you got that particular information. You can also go through this matter over here. Yeah. So, what are the skills do we require to become a generative AI engineer? That is a basic question. Okay. So, let me give you complete syllabus. So, this is a general question, right? Complete syllabus for becoming a Gen AI engineer. Okay. So, firstly, the foundations are required. What are the foundations? Python. Okay. Python programming, math, and libraries. I mean, these are the foundation, as people do not know generative AI already. So these are the foundations that people require: Python programming, and you know, basics of machine learning, and you know, basics of machine learning means supervised, unsupervised learning, and model evaluation will be coming over here. And then deep learning. Deep learning, as I said, when you are going to learn generative AI, deep learning is where you start. And then natural language processing. All right. And then transformers and LLMs. And then generative AI. Generative AI means, you know, you'll have to go deeper into the natural language processing. And then you'll have to go deeper into transformers, how the transformers are working. And you must know about the transfer learning, which where people will import that particular model from Hugging Face or whatever the base model, and then they use this technique called as transfer learning and create a chatbot. Okay, that is the basic you know, understanding you should have when you advance into large language models. Okay. And so everything generative AI, and the deployment of your generative AI models, deployment of your generative AI models. Okay. And you must have worked on any kind of capstone projects. Okay. So this will make you a better generative AI engineer. Okay, hope you got this idea. Okay, let me, these are the generative AI job roles we have. Hope you can see my screen, right? Generative AI job roles. So these are the current existing job roles: generative AI engineer, AI product manager, LLM application engineer, so RAG specialist and all, fine tuning, LangChain, chatbot, etc. And these are the emerging roles that are will be growing from 2025 to 27 itself. So AI DevOps engineer, voice, a chief AI officer, you can find these terms in any kind of job portals, right? You can have a good understanding over that, what requirements they are seeking from the you know, resources. And so this is a time, so if you do not have a proper knowledge on generative AI or whatever the skill set I have given you over there, so we have started a program. Coming to myself, I've been part of a generative AI trainer, but I was working in some other institutes earlier. Okay, as a generative AI trainer. Now this SkillVane Institute has introduced this particular program. Okay, So if you attend this 70-day power packed learning of generative AI with us, on the 71st day you'll be interview ready. Okay, on the 71st day you can provide you resume templates, and we'll also help you in the resume preparation as well. And on the 71st day we'll sit together and apply for a job posting that in any kind of job portals like Naukri or Monster, etc., etc. Okay, on the 71st day itself you will be ready to attend an interview. That is the knowledge that we are going to provide, and we are confident on that. Okay, so yeah, this you should be getting right this doubt. What is the course fee for this? And we considering the survey that we have taken from the document, we have decided to provide this program for 10,000 rupees itself. And the content what we are going to provide outside, it will be more than 1 lakh. Okay, so you can we'll have a batch starting on May 12th. We'll have a demo at this particular time itself, May 12th itself, at 9 p.m. IST. So you can attend that demo, and meanwhile we'll provide the curriculum. Okay, you can go through that curriculum and you compare that curriculum with other institutes, whatever who are providing this generative AI program, and then you will decide whether this price is matching, or it is limited to I mean, it is valuable, the course is valuable or not. Okay, so but one thing I would like to ensure you that, so when I say that advanced generative AI job oriented program, we actually mean it. So basically, people are applying to the jobs with lower basic knowledge, but we are going to make that person equal to the person who is working in real time. Okay, so on the 71st day, you will have that very good understanding or real time experience on the generative AI projects, and how a real time employee will face problems day to day, and what kind of activities a real time generative AI engineer will be facing or doing each and every day. So all those kind of uh, aspects we have considered, and we organized I mean created this job oriented program, and we are providing this for 10,000 rupees. Okay, and you can enroll. Probably someone from our team will be providing you a link, so you can enroll there itself. Okay, you can ask any kind of questions in the WhatsApp group, or you can even ask us personally in our WhatsApp chat. Okay, so that is fine for
I
us.
provided the link, Naveen. Sorry to disturb. I already provided the link. So, guys,
Sure, sure,
you
sure,
can
Manu.
register.
Yeah, yeah, the one thing is today we have discussed about many topics, right? But if you have any gaps in that particular topics, this is a 2-hour workshop. So I cannot explain all the 4-hour or 5-hour concept within this particular time frame. Okay, for example, I was saying, right, the transformers concept, we'll go through deeply. We'll first go through that journal, and we'll pick up that self attention mechanism, what is actually happening, and we'll discuss the math problems behind that particular concept. Okay, then we'll make you understand in a sequential manner, so that you can leave it to us, because we should not say that you will be ready to interview without having confidence on us. Okay, just because we have very good confidence on us, we are saying that you can attend any interview from the 71st day. Okay, yeah, from here afterwards, you can ask any kind of questions, and I'll be ready to take it.
Naveen, hi.
Yes.
Will machine learning and deep learning will be covered in this course or not?
Will machine learning and deep learning will be basics of machine learning is important, and it will be covered, and extensive and a very good understanding or deep study of deep learning will be provided. So when I say so you asked about deep learning, right? Deep learning, it
Yes.
starts with neural network. So we'll start the deep learning with the introduction to neural networks and how it is compared to inspired to the brain, and we'll discuss a lot about input, hidden and layers, right? After that we'll solve a math problem. Okay, which is in your btech, or which you would have solved in your btech. So by clearing that math problem, you'll get a very good understanding on the deep learning itself. And to answer your question shortly, yes, we'll cover machine learning and deep learning. machine learning and deep learning.
Uh,
The basics of machine learning will be covered, whatever required for the generative AI engineer, and a complete conceptual and practical understanding on deep learning will be covered.
okay, thank you. One more thing, may I know what is your industrial experience? I mean,
What is my?
industrial experience.
I have around 8.5 years, and
Oh,
completely I started with my career in data engineering, and then moved to machine learning within 1 year. So data scientist was the job I started after 1 year. Okay, firstly I started with data engineering, but after that data science, I moved into this generative AI from 2 years, right, to 2.5 years.
okay. In which companies have you worked?
I have worked in, there is a company called as Saipem, which you may not be hearing that. So it is a product-based company and Italian MNC. After that, I worked in Accenture, I worked in LTI Mindtree, and yeah,
Okay, great to hear that. Thank you, Naveen.
yeah.
Uh, Hello. So can you explain me the overview of these two capstone projects? What will be included in these projects?
Okay. Um, that will be covered as part of your demo session that we are uh, organizing, right, on February, sorry, May 12th, 9 p.m. IST. However, I would like to, I forgot to give you this particular understanding on LangChain and the ChatGPT, right? So I just got that as a reminder. Now, let me first show you. So, by explaining that, I'll make you understand what capstone projects that we are going to cover. Okay. All right. Hope you understood. First, let me understand, make you understand how LangChain and RAG will be helpful in making a chatbot, and thereby I'll explain you the capstone project that we are going to discuss. Why is it not coming? Hmm. So this was a question asked by one of my students. You know, it is a very valuable question. Okay, I forgot to cover that, so that's the reason I'm taking up once again. Okay, so when I was explaining this chat GPT, I mean RAG concept or RAG concept, right? You should have answered. You should have questioned me. So instead of using RAG, if I, for example, I have this document with me. Okay, let me show that document as well. Desktop. Where is it? So this is a document I have. Okay, and it has around 5,000 lines, and this is not even English, but at some point I have included my personal details. Okay, the movies that I watched. Open. See, in between the document I have added some part of it, part of personal information, whatever what is this workshop is all about, and what are the movies that I watched and wanted to watch at what time. Okay, I put this in between the this content. Okay, so why didn't you get this out? That is surprising for me. Instead of using RAG technology, I can just import this particular document here. So this is a document I have uploaded here. From here I can ask a question to this GPT, right? So this is already having the data, the personal information, whatever the workshop is on, and which whatever the movies I watched. It already contains that data in this particular text file itself. So I'm going to ask it a question. When did I watch Oppenheimer movie? So it is reading that document. So it is saying that based on the content of your uploaded file, it appears that you watched Oppenheimer on July 23rd, 2023. Is this correct? Control F, Oppenheimer. See, I said that I watched Oppenheimer on a Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. But this is giving that I watched on July 23, 2023, which is obviously incorrect. But what this LLM has done, this is an advanced model, right? ChatGPT 4 or 3.5, right? But what it has done is it has given a wrong answer. This is called as hallucination. Okay. And if I'm going to ask the same question to my chatbot, which I have created using the RAG and LangChain, as you can see. Okay, it is running. So it is loading the vector store. It is nothing but the embedding vectors that are present in your vector database. Okay, which is nothing but your indirect representation of the text file that we provided. Okay. Okay. So when did Naveen watch Oppenheimer movie? So I'm asking this question, and it should give the answer correctly. See, it is saying Naveen watched the Oppenheimer movie on Wednesday night at 9:45 p.m. Okay, so this is what exactly present in our file, right? And this the chatbot we have created using RAG. So hope you understood the advantages of using RAG. So hallucination, which is a limitation of your LLM, is now resolved by using the RAG, right? So this is one of the uses of a RAG. So all the content over here, it will be converted into your vector forms, and this will be saved in a vector database. And from that vector database, LLM will pick up and will answer over here. Okay, where is it? Here. If you want to see what information it has kept, so it kept the chunks, these chunks with it, and at last provided to the LLM to provide the exact answer. So this is one of the absolute use of RAG. And whatever, Sindhara, coming to your question, hope you got the answer of this RAG, everybody. And now let me answer the question. Yes, we are going to cover two capstone projects, Sindhara. One is on Amazon AWS, and the other is on Google. Okay. In Amazon AWS, we are going to use Bedrock, and then in GCP, we will be using Vertex AI. I'll be understanding. I'll make you understand on this complete capstone project in the first demo. I request you to attend the first demo. Okay, but you will have very good understanding on the real time what people are doing. Okay, and real time what I am doing specifically. Every day in the project we have to do everything, right? Like we'll be having DSU call, and then we'll be checking the monitoring, everything. So I'll be covering that in the first demo. Okay, so for now we are going to cover both GCP and AWS, whatever the real-time scenarios we'll pick up, and we'll create that into capstone projects. I have that entire capstone project ready with me. I can show that with you in the demo. Okay, yeah. So if you have any other questions, can we get this recording, or any PDF? You'll get this recording for sure. Maybe it will be uploaded. So it was already answered. Batch timings, yes, it is also answered. So guys, do you have any other questions?
Yes, Naveen. Uh, you have mentioned about the vector they work.
Okay, so vector databases. So I was telling you, right? Whatever the question you ask any chat GPT or any kind of LLM, okay? So that question and any application, LLM or computer cannot understand your English language, right? So that English language will be converted into numerical form, and those numerical forms are called as vector forms, okay? But this is the question vector form, right? But the answer must be retrieved from the company document, which is your RAG. Okay, all that complete company information will be stored in a database which is called as vector database. And that particular information, for example, here what is the maternity policy, right? That maternity policy will be in the form of vectors itself. Okay, now this question, whatever the question you asked, which is in vector form, will search for relevant vector forms in that vector space. Okay, so using the cosine similarity, they will check which are all related to this particular question in the vector database, and they'll pull that information to the LLM. Okay, hope you understood the vector database. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah. So any other questions?
Yeah. Hi, Naveen. This is Venkatesh here.
Okay. Hi,
Um,
Venkatesh.
yeah. Hi. I'm actually a generative AI professional.
Okay.
In my company, we are slowly transforming to generative AI, and we are using Techion AI workspace to use some AI agents, Gemini AI and others.
Okay.
So my question is, how to use LangChain with the cloud, any cloud?
Yeah. That's a very good question. So you're already working as a Gen AI engineer, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Which cloud are you using? May I know?
GCP cloud platform. Yeah,
Okay,
we are
you are
using.
using Google Cloud, right? Okay, fine. So I think you are also creating an application just like chatbot or consumer related chatbot. I'm considering that chatbot, okay, consumer chatbot or semantic analysis chatbot, etc. Okay, so what
Yeah.
happens is that, so firstly, I already answered that question over here, but I'm going to answer again. Okay, so you have your company information in terms of PDFs. Okay, all these PDFs, since you are working in Google Cloud, you must be storing in at one particular location, which is your Google Cloud storage, right? So in Google
Yeah.
Cloud storage, you will be storing the document storage, and then so whatever the PDF you have, so I'm telling you, you asked about where we can use the LangChain, right? So I'll have to
Yeah.
explain you from the sequence, then only you can understand. Okay. So the PDF, so whatever the PDFs you have, once the PDF is uploaded to your GCS bucket using cloud functions. So cloud functions is also, as you are working, you must be familiar with this cloud functions. So it takes up that PDF whenever it is dumped to the GCS bucket. Okay. And using, a library or a framework called as since it is PDF, so we must be using this PDF extractor for converting your English language to the vectors. Okay, and then I was saying, right, once you have that, once you are asking any kind of questions, LangChain must come here. Okay, LangChain along with your Vertex AI, right, is the one you are using. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll tell you. So vertex A will be the part, and vector database you can use face or pinecone or VV8, VV8, or you can also use ChromaDB. Okay, guys, please listen to this because this gives you a very good understanding. So thanks for asking this question, Venkatesh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then metadata will be stored, should be stored at one point, and you must be using some LLM. So since it is Google, you will be using some Palm 2 LLM. I am just assuming this. Okay, and then again it must be prompt must be taken from LangChain, and then if you are I'm building a basic application, so you should be using the Streamlit application over here, front end application. Okay, and then you will have to
Okay.
use this. Okay, so this is the setup, Venkatesh, so I'll make you understand. Okay, so firstly, whatever the PDF you have, so that will be dumped into your GCS buckets. Okay, and then when the PDFs, so the company documents are there, so when these are uploaded to your GCS buckets, you must have a triggering mechanism. Here we are using the cloud functions. Okay, and in AWS you will be using the Lambda functions, Lambda. And here, since it is GCP, you are using cloud functions, and for extracting the information from there, we are using this particular thing. Okay, then vector database, we are using any one of them, face, pinecone, Viviate. So Mr. Vinod has asked about this vector database, right? So these are the vector databases we can use. And metadata, we can use BigQuery. So what is the part of LangChain? Okay, LangChain is a framework that controls many things, right? Prompt templates, LLM, RAG, etc., etc., right? So text chunking and embedding. Okay, whatever the PDF you have, here the text chunking and embedding will be taken care by your LangChain. Okay, so you might be thinking LangChain is an open source framework, but still many people are using LangChain in their projects. For example, myself, even we are using LangChain as part of our cloud projects. We worked on both AWS and GCP projects where we were using LangChain, and in one of the project we did not use LangChain. That is a different scenario. However, so LangChain will be used at this point of time. Okay, this is one place where you will be using LangChain, and the other one is retrieval mechanism. Okay, retrieval mechanism and um, prompting and LLM uh, flow. Okay, so these five things will be taken care by your LangChain. So whether it is coming to PDF text chunking, embedding, or retrieval mechanism. So whatever you have, right, the relevant information in your vector form, that information along with the document number and page number is nothing but your retrieval mechanism. Okay, and along with that, your retriever will be creating the prompt template for your LLM, right? So all these kind of things will be taken care by LangChain itself. Yes, to your question, yes, we can, using this you can create a chatbot. So this is the usage of a LangChain, Venkatesh.
Okay.
So
Okay. Got it. This is,
you can
yeah.
use in these two places. Okay, or there are replacements as well. You can also use them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This is much useful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for asking this question actually. So this
Yeah.
this should explain your question as well, Sindhura. So this is a example of GCP project where we are using LangChain. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
What are the prerequisites? What is the difference among a week back announced and this course? Okay, somebody has asked this question. What is the difference between a course that we introduced to you last week, which is machine learning, advanced machine learning and generative AI course, and this generative AI course? So that course, okay, that course will give you a basics of generative AI, which are required for a machine learning engineer. So it is completely on a machine learning engineer. What is the additional knowledge a machine learning engineer must have? So in the Gen AI, this is not complete generative AI. Okay, but the program that we are discussing now is a complete generative AI. Okay, job oriented program. So here you will have all the foundational knowledge on Python, as you know already, but machine learning basics will be covered here. Our complete concentration will be on generative AI itself. So okay, so this is the additional module, and this is the complete information on generative AI. So yeah. So do you have any other questions in audience? You can ask me. I think we are left with since we started at 10:15, 10:10, maybe we have 10 more minutes. Okay, so if you have any kind of questions, you can ask me, or we'll wind up the session and you can ask me in the group that we have created, right? You can ask me there. So that is the reason I wanted to show this demonstration to you, how the RAG application will work. So I opened ChatGPT and using the good model itself, we have seen that you must have a RAG when you want to retrieve some information, personal information or specific information, because the context window of this is very small. So it can read up to 10 lines or 15 lines, but it cannot do. Yeah. Um, any questions?
Hi Naveen. Here RAG means only document. Huh?
No, no, no. RAG is not about a document only. So the document you may be telling about text, PDF, or Word, right? No, a website can be your document, or a database can be your document as well. So RAG will retrieve information from your documents, text, Word, PDF, website, or even the database that you imported for that particular application.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, do you have any other question? So if not, I'm telling you, right? So if you're see so if you are willing to learn generative AI, this is the right time, because you can get twice or thrice of the salary you're having, because there is a huge shortage of generative AI engineer and qualified generative AI engineers. So you must be hurrying up and learn generative AI and apply for any kind of jobs. I'm not saying about this program, but in general I'm saying. So there is a huge gap and you can get a very good package. Okay, there are. So if you look at the World Economic Forum report, you'll be stunned, because millions of jobs are getting created. Okay, I request all of you to go through that World Economic Forum, or in this case Bain and Company, and you will get a very good understanding how many jobs are getting created, and what is the talent gap we have. Okay. What are the so there is a question. So yeah, steps after giving a prompt to Claude. So all are similar. Whatever the LLM steps I have shown you, I explained here, right? So the same things will be happening. Claude is also an LLM, right? So the same steps will be following up over here. The thing is, OpenAI has its own embeddings. Okay, so even if you are creating an application, a chatbot kind of, if you are using OpenAI resources, you will be importing the OpenAI embedding. But Claude, there will be a separate embeddings. Okay, so you so based on that embedding model, or the model behind it, so the LLM and the embedding models, or this vector DBs will be changing, but the sequence of processing is all same. Okay, I have already given, so please have a look at over here. Okay, not here. So this one, the same principle, the same processing. What are the domains may be affected due to this generative AI? That's a very nice question, Sindhura again. So generative AI is entering into almost all of the fields. Okay, so for example, for now, when generative AI was entered into the market in 2023, most of the machine learning engineers wanted to learn that particular technology, because the job is requiring that particular concepts. Okay, after that generative AI engineers have started. Okay, the job postings on generative AI engineer or LLM engineer or prompt engineer. So these kind of jobs have emerged. Okay, very, from it started from 7 months, 7 8 months. Okay, now data engineering, if you see data bricks. Okay, there are three main. Okay, for data engineering we have Databricks, Snowflake, and in cloud, in your case GCP, you have BigQuery, right? BigQuery. And in AWS also you'll have one, and also in Azure you'll have one, right? So Databricks has introduced Mosaic AI. Okay, AI, where the data engineers have to know knowledge on generative AI to work in this particular technology. Databricks has already started Mosaic AI with the Lakehouse platform. Okay, you please Google this. You will come to know that generative AI will be part of even data engineering, cyber security, testing, everything. And Snowflake has unveiled Cortex AI, right? Cortex AI. Cortex AI. So these are all generative AI related only. So even data engineering is seeing, and BigQuery also, this BigQuery is now equipped with the Vertex AI. Okay, so here also you can see this is part of data engineering. Apart from data engineering, you can see cyber security and all, many Internet of Things, etc., etc. I cannot say, but this will be starting. This has already started. Okay, but very soon, within the coming 2 3 months, you'll find this data generative AI penetrating into almost all of the fields in the IT industry specifically. Okay, okay, and yeah, hope you got idea about it. We are hearing that due to AI, many individuals may lose their jobs, but why we see many jobs on AI? See, I was saying, right? um, I saw one research article where, uh, for example, all the programmers have written code from 30 years, right? 30 years code of programmers. Generative AI is able to create or write code for all the pipelines within 6 months. Okay, you can now correlate, right? So 30 years of code was written by programmers for almost all the ETL pipelines or ELT pipelines. Okay, etc., etc. Almost all of this coding will be written by generative AI within 6 months. That is the news article which has come up very recently. You can also see that. So if you have this much capability of a technology, so it is obvious, right? It can replace a number of jobs, millions of workers. Okay, that is for sure. There is no doubt about it. When I say this Databricks is integrating Mosaic AI and this Lakehouse platform is what it is using, it means when generative AI is entering into this particular thing now, POC is happening on this particular things. Okay, POC is in progress, and once it is done, even in data engineering also, you will see many people are getting replaced with the generative AI. So to keep you shortly, yes, most of the jobs will be replaced by artificial intelligence, and most of the jobs will be affected by artificial intelligence, particularly generative AI. What is the probability for non-IT people to get into generative AI, and kindly suggest the roadmap and prerequisites? Okay, so yeah, see, it is not about non-IT people or IT people. IT industry works in such a way that if you know that particular technology very well and they have the requirement, they'll hire you. Okay, so it is independent of what company you have worked. Okay, if you have a required skill set, and if you are have that knowledge to replace a person who just left that particular organization, so there is no doubt that 100% you will be recruited. And that is the first question, right? And you asked me the roadmap for generative AI. I have given you, right? So first you'll have to learn all these kind of things. Okay, then you'll be equipped with the generative AI knowledge. Okay, so hope I have answered all the questions. Now it's a high time. I should be winding up because I have a class in the afternoon. So probably yes. So yes, finally, this is a there is a huge requirement, and we have unveiled this program. Okay, generative AI job oriented program, which takes you from a very beginner, even if you are a fresher, non IT person, or working professional who is planning to transition into generative AI. This is the right time, and this program will take you and keep you interview ready on the 71st day. Okay, so that is the final thing I would like to tell you. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, and thanks for your time. I know it's
Yeah,
weekend, but yeah.
yeah. Naveen, just one thing. Can you please ask everyone to register this?
How this? Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Can you please ask everybody to give the feedback and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
give who those who
So,
are interested about it.
guys, we have provided a feedback form. I kindly request you to provide your feedback, and if you have any questions, you can anyway ask in the WhatsApp group or personally to Mr. This particular SkillVane train is there, right? You can ask him, or you can mention that in group. We'll be ready to answer that, and kindly provide your feedback in the form. Okay. Yeah, please don't forget that because it is important for us. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Banu, do we have any other questions? Do you cover maths and Python? Yes, we cover everything. So you do not need any prior knowledge, that's what I'm saying. So you do not need any prior knowledge. We are not expecting anything from you. We are going to teach you everything from the basics. Okay, so you come with a zero knowledge and we'll make you prepare on a level of 100. Okay, for sitting to interview, you need almost good knowledge on generative AI, right? So we'll make you ready for that. And this course helps data engineers. Yes, obviously this will help. Yeah, yeah. So he has kept right to keep you shortly, Sindura. So I remember that you are using GCP, right? GCP as data engineering. Yes,
Yes.
there also. Yes, yes, there also. BigQuery for now. I think in your project they might not have provided access to you to that Vertex AI, right? But
Yes.
soon they'll be providing that access. Okay, that is one aspect. And again, data engineering. So you have this data flow jobs, right? So the pipelines
Mm-hmm.
that you are creating, the ETL or ELT pipelines. So in writing that particular code as well, you will have to use different LLMs. Okay, so ChatGPT is proficient in one thing. Okay, and there are some other AI tools or other things as well where you need some knowledge on. Okay, and whatever the knowledge this generative AI, deep learning and all, you will be eventually learning this in your career in the coming 6 to 12 months, even being a GCP data engineer.
Okay.
Particularly if you're a Databricks, GCP data engineering, you would be using Dataproc, right, for writing the PySpark pipelines.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will also be correlated with Databricks platform very soon, I guess. So there also generative AI will be playing a huge role, because big data is one of the major field which is having a very good growth. Okay, so there also you'll have to learn.
Okay.
So whether it can be data ingestion or transformation, or code generation, whatever it is, or even data analysis where you are using Google Looker, etc., etc., you will have to use generative AI in the coming days. That's what I'm telling you finally. Okay, and very important thing is, I would like to say this because I am using it daily in my job. I think you are using VS Code, right? VS Code,
Yes.
yeah, for
Yeah.
your.
Yeah.
So yeah, GitHub Copilot is integrated into VS Code, right? So I think your
Yeah.
project
Yeah, I'm
we
aware of
have
that.
already given access. So that using GitHub Copilot also, where you give some prompts on the right side, right? So there also
Mm-hmm.
prompting will be helpful for you. So this
Okay.
GitHub Copilot is nothing but the LLM codex provided by OpenAI, right?
Yeah.
So you will have a good understanding on that as well.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Hope you had a good time and you learned good things in a short time. So if you have any kind of questions, as I said, you can ask in the WhatsApp group and we'll be ready to answer it. Okay. Yeah, and the demo session, as I said, will be on May 12th at 9 p.m., which will anyway announce you in the group itself. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.